Well, I think many people have misconceptions about mindfulness.
I thought it might be about kind of switching your head off.
About sitting upright or doing the breathing techniques and getting everything right.
I thought it was going to be all airy-fairy.
Focusing on yourself rather than on what needs to change in society.
We'd be sitting round in classes with our legs crossed.
But actually it's not.
It was nothing like that.
Mindfulness allows people to develop 4 qualities. It allows them to develop focus, clarity, creativity and compassion. And it gives them a toolkit to be able to do that.
And for me, it's all about the breathing and helping me with my mental focus.
So the Mindfulness Initiative is an organisation that's set at putting mindfulness at the heart of policy and at the heart of legislature.
We as politicians are policymakers, and you can see real benefits of mindfulness in areas of policy. How we can help children with their own coping mechanisms with anxiety and pressure and stress.
It's got applications in prisons as well. There have been some studies on prisoners and the use in the criminal justice system.
And there's some wonderful examples about how people who have undergone some form of mindfulness training have fared better as a consequence of that.
Within the National Health Service itself, obviously it has applications, but also within businesses. And it's been really interesting to see some of our big companies in particular really latch onto this and become real champions.
So it's how we can use mindfulness in developing policy.
I think mindfulness in politics helps you to learn to listen better.
And that's vital, particularly actually with people that you don't agree with necessarily.
It's not always about agreeing with people, but in terms of the respect that you can gain by truly listening to somebody and taking on their viewpoint. If you've listened to it, then that becomes part of you and part of your direction moving forward.
Tim Lawton, who's the co-chair with me of the APPG, coined the phrase that mindfulness could help us disagree better.
I suppose disagreeing better for me is about recognising that each and every one of us is not the same as our beliefs.
We're more likely to appreciate and seek to understand and respect the view of an opponent than if we just come at it, completely hammer and tongs, I'm right, you're wrong.
I think it's hard. We used to practice on a Tuesday night to sit down with 20 people from all political parties on a Tuesday night and then to be nasty to that person the following morning at Prime Minister's questions. So it has led to a greater degree of understanding.
I think that if you can adopt that mindfulness perspective, if you can adopt that empathy, then it's very, very difficult to be so tribal. And so I think it helps you just perhaps express your disagreements better and be angry with what's being done or what's being said rather than with the person.
And sometimes it is very hard to separate the person from their beliefs. Disagreeing better perhaps means that you listen harder, that you're able to try to find some common ground where you can, and perhaps bring a little bit more humility to the debate.
We've done a lot of work on mindfulness in Parliament.
In the last 10 years, we've seen 300 politicians, MPs, peers go through mindfulness training.
Most of them have carried it on and have now become practitioners.
We've seen 800 or so members of staff within Westminster go through that training programme.
We've also taken the lead in encouraging other parliaments and legislatures across the world to adopt mindfulness practices as well.
And we've heard from the experiences of those individuals in our latest report. But where do we go from here? Where does this go next?
I think we can achieve a greater understanding of mindfulness across parliaments as well, working with other lawmakers in other legislatures across the world.
We can see the seeds that have been planted. And no, we haven't seen a transformation of the political system in the UK as a result of this. But we have seen a difference. We have seen that evidence. We have seen that testimony. So there are seeds here we need to water. There's a direction here that we need to go. And if we can do that, then there is a hope that this will play a really important role in transforming British politics and politics on a global level.